Hey everyone, my name is Poisonblade and I hope all of you are doing well today. So for today's video, I'm going to be finishing off the habitat for the African buffalo, the rhino, springboks, and the Nile Monitor because yes, I chucked some of them in here. And I built a building that I specifically said I wasn't going to build, but hey, I ended up building it. And I built another aqueduct because you can never have too many aqueducts. And then I also discovered a mistake that I made when it came to the rice paddies, which I'm not going to show you guys how I fixed the mistake. I just am going to show you guys the end result of fixing the mistake. So with that being said, let's get straight into today's video. So yeah, in the last video I specifically said, oh, I'm not going to build those reed houses that you find in Iraq, and some of the houses in the last video were actually inspired of those houses, but yeah, I've just learned that I shouldn't talk. Because as soon as I said that, just something in my brain immediately just thought like, you're going to build it, aren't you? Yes, I did. And I think the biggest concern I had while building, or before building it, was like, oh, we don't have any like thatch pillars. Because these houses are supposed to be like, I think completely made without the use of wood or stone. It's only like thatch or reed and maybe some rope to like bind the reed together. Like I constantly say thatch, but it's supposed to be reed because these houses are usually built in like the, I want to say like just the river areas of Iraq. So like surrounding like the Euphrates and the Tigris. Those are two only rivers that I knew. Thank you, history lessons. And I was very bad at geography. I want to say let's just move on because my Dutch is trying to just creep through. Because in Dutch, geography is topography. So my brain just wanted to say geography instead of geography. But yeah, so just a reminder to me, don't say anything surrounding not wanting to build something because you will inevitably end up building it just to prove your brain wrong. But anyways, as I said before, I also built another aqueduct. Mostly because I just wanted another aqueduct, but also because this area is supposed to be like completely man-made, like it's built on the desert floor, so there is supposed to be like this is not supposed to be a natural area. So when it comes to like making this land fertile enough for agriculture, there needs to be like a sufficient amount of irrigation happening because again, this is supposed to be on the desert floor, so this is not supposed to be naturally a fertile area or like an area suitable for farming or agriculture. And so with the grain fields being well smack dab in the middle of the two rice paddies and the basin for the aqueduct on one side, and then I make a basin for just a floating tree on the other, but I don't end up showing you guys that because it's basically the same as the last video. But it would take some time to like, you know, gather sufficient water to basically water the grain fields. So then I just thought like, oh, you know, maybe you have another aqueduct that goes directly into the grain fields and that delivers the water for the grain fields so that the farmers don't have to get up to the basin beneath the aqueduct, get the water, and then try and, you know, water the grain fields. There's that, but also just because I like how aqueducts look, so the Elysian Fields is really just an excuse for me to build as many aqueducts as I like. I mean, I can't build any castles anymore. Give me aqueducts then. Although, I will probably find a way to still build a castle in the Elysian Fields, because I literally have no clue why I keep building castles besides that I really like building castles. If I'm not going to be able to build castles, I'm going to be able to build aqueducts. Or just, I am going to build aqueducts. Like, I will find a place or I will make a place for them. But anyway, when it came to the actual animals, because I also wanted to talk about all the animals that are in this habitat and why they are here. Nile monitors, easy. They are just here. Like, some animals don't really have a reasoning behind or beyond. There's water here, there's food here, so that's why they are here. So the Nile Monitors are kind of in this position where they don't really harm any of the crops. I assume that they would like mostly go after like any kind of like, I don't know, insect or like small, like rats and such, like small animals that would be annoying to farmers. So the farmers just like sort of let them be. So Nile Monitors, they are just here. They don't really have a particular reasoning, and the farmers, like, they're not trouble enough to the farmers or don't cause actually any trouble to the farmers. So the farmers just let them be here. They are slightly helpful, so that's why they are there. And now for the African buffaloes. Yeah, so I thought, oh, the African buffaloes, like, there's going to be some people who have domesticated that one. Nope. I figured out halfway through, well, not halfway through, but before I actually started building, that African buffaloes are one of the few, or maybe even the only kind of buffalo that hasn't been domesticated, because they are supposedly very aggressive. So yeah, we have those in Kayan al-Bashar, because I mean, I wanted to have some animal that could somewhat take the place of a cow. And we only had the African buffaloes, and I mean, it's Kayan al-Bashar. Half of the place damn floats. So there's probably going to be some people who have found a way to either domesticate the African buffaloes, or the African buffaloes in Kayan al-Bashar are maybe like a subspecies of buffaloes specific to Kayan al-Bashar. Or, well, it's just its own kind of buffalo, so there's two explanations. Either they have domesticated the actual African buffaloes, or the African buffaloes in Kayan al-Bashar are just a stand-in for Kayan al-Bashar type buffaloes. Either way, I just wanted buffaloes, so I kept them in here, and I mean, with the farmlands, you know, it just sort of works. Then it comes to the rhinos. Kind of the same issue, actually. But with the rhinos, I knew beforehand that, like, oh, they're supposedly like very territorial and you're not supposed to really cross a rhino. So when it came to the farmlands, like right from the get-go, I think when I started building farmlands in Karsnik, I already knew, like, oh, I want rhinos as a farmland animal. And yes, I knew right from the get-go that they're very territorial and potentially very aggressive if you cross them, or like, you know, in any sort of way anger them or just annoy them. But when it came to Kayan al-Bashar, I just had the idea that they are the plows of Kayan al-Bashar, because I mean, they have a big horn, and plows also have a big pointy thing that plows up the field. So maybe again in Kayan al-Bashar, either it's like a special kind of rhino that they have been able to domesticate, or it's the actual like normal Indian rhino actually, but I'm using the Indian rhino as the African rhino because we don't have an African rhino, which actually surprised me, because this is where my dumbassery comes through again, but I actually did not know that India had rhinos. I literally didn't. I thought the rhinos were completely just Africa. So, I mean, I've learned a lot about animals through Planet Zoo, so Planet Zoo is definitely helpful when it came to that, but I really did not realize that India had rhinos beforehand. Yeah, the rhinos in Kayan al-Bashar are basically just living plows that are there to just, you know, plow the fields when the new harvest or the new season for planting the grain fields, or maybe even the rice paddies comes through. So yeah, they are kept here because of that. And then the Springboks. I mean, they have a better, well, not a better reason, they have actually no reasoning of being in this habitat, besides that they are a pest. Yeah, some animals are not really supposed to be in a habitat, or at least are not supposed to be in that area. Like some animals like the rhinos, the buffaloes, or even in a small part the monitors are helpful to the farmers. I just see the Springboks as a pest. Like, the farmers continuously try to chase them away because they might eat like the grain and such or the rice, and they keep coming back because there's water and there's food. And they sort of blend in a little bit with the grain fields. So yeah, even though the farmers continuously chase them away, they just keep coming back and they hide in the grain fields so that the farmers don't immediately see them. So yeah, but in general, the Springboks are just supposed to be actually a pest. Actually, I think the same goes for the Thompson Gazelle. Like, they're just sort of supposed to be a pest. They don't really have a function besides being a pest. But anyway, just a quick tie in with what you're seeing right now. Yeah, I realized that Kayan al-Bashar is kind of hated by the staff, so I built some staff facilities. Also because I just got really annoyed by the constant messages of like, this animal is hungry. Well, I turned those messages off, but I just was annoyed with clicking on an animal, mostly to see their like these areas that they could travel, like the traversable area, and then just see like, this animal is starving, this animal is dying of thirst or something. So mostly because of that, and also, well, that's actually a thing that I found out later, or I forgot to actually add, is a trade center. Because the nearest trade center to the Elysian Fields is on the complete other side of the Royal Palace. So it kind of takes a time to get animals here, so I'm probably going to have to build a trade center soon. But yeah, in the end, I just wanted to have some staff facilities here. Also, there's going to be one shop, because right now I'm building a butcher. And at this point, I really quickly realized I wish I had taken some of like the butcher things from Valhalla, because I had to build completely new ones. And yes, this is the freshest meat you will find in Kayan al-Bashar, because I mean, the buffaloes are right outside. So yeah, Kayan al-Bashar is not supposed to be a zoo, it's supposed to be like a sort of fantasy world, so yeah, you will have that. So your hot dogs are, well, you actually now know what's in the hot dogs in Kayan al-Bashar. You don't know what's in it in the real world, and I doubt you want to know what's in our world's hot dogs. Like, some kinds of foods you just like, yeah, it tastes great. Don't really actually want to know what's in it. The same goes with like McDonald's chicken nuggets, but then it's like the pink goo thingy. I still really like McDonald's chicken nuggets. Like, I've tried every chicken nugget, like from Burger King and even KFC, but I still prefer McDonald's chicken nuggets, even though I know that it's like that pink slime. Maybe it isn't anymore, but even if it isn't, it's not really that much healthier probably. But I really just like McDonald's chicken nuggets. Yeah, don't like any of the burgers, so I will just get like a big bag of chicken nuggets. And then I'm happy. Basically build some, you know, hams and another type of, well, not a type of meat, but just a way of eating it that I don't really know what it's called. I know that in Dutch it's called a rollade or rollade. I don't know what's called in English, but basically it's meat in a net. But anyway, so with that being said, let's try and move on. So when it came to the Elysian Fields, it's supposed to be like this sort of mysterious but also farming area. I mean, the farming area has come through loads, but I do have plans for, well, something with the Arctic wolf. And, well, I kind of spoiled the plan to one of you guys when it came to the Gharials. And that's going to bring in some darker tones into the Elysian Fields. But I just want to build some more temples and such. Also more aqueducts, because again, you can never have enough aqueducts. Because, well, the Elysian Fields, I mean, the name is already Greek. Like, the Elysian Fields is supposed to be like the word for like paradise in Greek mythology. Or, well, it's supposed to be the area where like Greek heroes go to after they die. Except if you're Hercules, but then Hercules is, well, Hercules. The Elysian Fields is supposed to be like somewhat of a paradise, but then the same with all of Kayan al-Bashar. It's supposed to be really pretty, but then you forget that it's also really deadly, because it's one boot off the floating islands and you're going on a 50-meter drop. Or 100-meter, because I do imagine that well, for Planet Zoo it's not that high, but I'm always thinking like, if Kayan al-Bashar was like a real fantasy place and I had like unlimited building things, you know, the ability to build things completely without restraint, that Kayan al-Bashar would probably be a lot higher. But in Planet Zoo I have to, of course, make a little bit of use of the pathing so that people can actually get to places. Even though I'm probably not going to let any guests into Kayan al-Bashar because damn the frame rate. I can already see the frame rate dropping to 5. Yeah, there's a reason why you never see any guests in Kayan al-Bashar, because I mean, in the Elysian Fields I have a frame rate of 30. Because I'm not looking at that one particular build that's dragging it down to 20 or 18. But yeah, so most of the buildings still in the Elysian Fields are somewhat on stilts. These ones are a little bit too low, although I still managed to fit in the sleeping area for the Springboks underneath here. Again, they're supposed to be pests, so it made kind of sense that they would just find a place underneath an area where nobody would go. Because in the last video I built a sleeping area for well, it was supposed to be for the African buffaloes, but I don't think they can actually go there because I made the entrance way too small again. Yeah, that's probably going to be just the end of it for today. So I'm just going to show you guys the end result of this habitat. I have no idea how to name this habitat besides farming lands. I mean, this is not supposed to be like a very specific habitat like Persephone's Orchard that could have, or that has a specific name, but this area is supposed to be just the farmland, so this area doesn't really have a name on its own. Besides, well, the Elysian Fields. So with that being said, I hope all of you enjoyed the video. I wanted to go into my intro for some reason, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, there's of course the like button, and there's the subscribe button if you want to see more. There's a cursed bell button that is supposed to notify you when the videos go live, but does it really? But anyway, I just wish all of you an amazing day. Bye bye.